Welcome, and thank you for giving yourself this full hour. Today we are going to talk about one force that has quietly powered the greatest revolutions of business, science, art, and personal growth. It is not luck, not talent, not even intelligence. It is the power of burning desire, an inner fire that turns a vague dream into a definite destiny. If you stay with me for this session, I promise 3 things. First, you will hear stories, real stories, of people who began with very little except desire and turned it into results. Second, you will leave with a practical framework, 6 actionable steps that translate desire into plans, plans into action, and action into results. Third, you will be guided through brief reflective exercises so you can anchor these ideas into your own life today. Think of this hour as a workshop for your mind. Wherever you are, walking, commuting, or sitting quietly, let your imagination collaborate with your will. Let this be the hour where you stop hoping and start deciding. The world always makes room for the person who knows where they're going. Let me begin with a scene. A freight train slows into Orange, New Jersey. A man climbs down. His clothes are worn. His pockets are nearly empty, but his mind is rich with one decision. His name is Edwin Barnes. He has traveled here for one reason, not to get a job with Thomas Edison, but to become Edison's business associate. It was a bold intention. He did not write to request an interview. He did not ask, "Are there any openings?" He walked into Edison's office, stood in the presence of the most prolific inventor of his era, and declared his desire, not as a wish, but as a decision. From that day forward, even though he began with the most ordinary tasks, he held a private identity within. In his mind, he was already Edison's partner. Days became months, months became years. 5 years passed without any obvious sign that his desire would be fulfilled. To the outside world, he was just another employee, a tiny cog in a massive enterprise. But on the inside, he fed one thought day after day: I will be Edison's associate. That thought shaped his habits, sharpened his attention, and kept him receptive to opportunity. And then it came. Edison launched a new dictation machine and needed someone who could sell it with conviction. Barnes volunteered, seized the chance, and created extraordinary results. Not long after, he became exactly what he had declared on day 1, Edison's business associate. From the outside, it looked like a lucky break. On the inside, it was inevitable, because he had burned every bridge except the one that led to his goal. That is what burning desire does. It refuses to give us the comfort of retreat. It says choose, commit, create. There is an old story of a commander who sailed across the sea to face an army larger than his own. When his soldiers stepped onto the enemy's shore, he ordered the ships to be burned. As the smoke rose, he spoke plainly: "We go home in our enemy's ships, or we do not go home." With retreat no longer available, the only path was forward, and forward they went, until they won. You and I may not be on a battlefield, but in the theater of personal ambition the psychology is the same. As long as we keep a secret door marked escape, our commitment leaks. When we remove that door, our creativity and courage surge. Burning desire does not flirt with a goal, it marries it. After the Great Fire in Chicago, many merchants looked at the ashes of their stores and decided to leave the city. One man pointed to the charred remains and said, "On this very spot I will build the greatest store in the world, no matter how many times it may burn down." His name was Marshall Field. The store was built. The promise became a landmark. The world remembers the monument, but it began as a sentence, spoken with certainty in the midst of smoke and rubble. That is another face of desire. It speaks definite language. Not maybe, not someday, not I'll try. It says, "This is what I will do," and then it acts accordingly. Desire must be definite before it can be productive. A warm wish will not carry you through cold mornings and long nights. A burning desire will, but even burning desire needs a channel. It needs to be converted into a plan, and a plan into daily action. Think of a river. The wider and shallower it is, the slower it moves. Channel it tightly, and it becomes a force that can turn a turbine. The framework you are about to hear is that channel. I call it the 6 definite steps. You can use them to build wealth, master a craft, launch a venture, or transform any area of life where you crave results. Listen first, then we will practice together. Step 1. Fix in your mind the exact outcome you desire. Clarity precedes power. More money is not a target. $100,000 in annual income by December 31 is. Run a half marathon in under 2 hours by October is. The mind likes specifics, so give it numbers, dates, and details. Imagine you are tuning a radio. Static vanishes when the dial finds the precise frequency. Your goal needs the same precision. When you name the exact result, your attention reorganizes. You see different opportunities, make different decisions, and measure progress intelligently. There is no such thing as something for nothing. Value flows to those who create value. Ask, what problem will I solve? What skill will I develop? What service will I perform? What will I stop doing so I can free time and energy for what matters? This step transforms desire from self-centered to value-centered. Instead of asking, how can I get? You begin asking, how can I contribute? Paradoxically, this shift accelerates your results because the marketplace always pays most for usefulness. Step 3. Set a definite date. A goal without a deadline is a wish wearing a watch. When you set a date, you trigger urgency, planning, and sequencing. You also make trade-offs visible. If your target is 12 months away, what must happen in 9 months, in 6, in 3, this week, and today? Deadlines create momentum and reveal priorities. Step 4. Create a practical plan and begin at once. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Start with a good enough plan and perfect it by doing. Break it down into daily and weekly actions you can control. If your goal is financial, list concrete behaviors, number of client calls, number of proposals, number of deliverables shipped. If your goal is mastery, schedule focused practice blocks, feedback loops, and cycles for deliberate improvement. Then begin now. Action, even small and imperfect, ignites clarity. Action exposes what works. Action reveals what needs to change. Action separates dreamers from doers. Step 5. Write a clear statement of your goal, your deadline, what you will give in return, and your plan to get there. Then read that statement aloud, morning and night. Not mechanically, but with emotion. See yourself already in possession of the outcome. Feel what it will be like. Let the image imprint itself on your imagination until the mind accepts it as a future fact, so strongly that it begins rearranging your behavior to make it true. Step 6. Repeat, refine, and persist. Twice daily, anchor the vision. Weekly, review the plan. Monthly, adjust the strategy. Relentlessly, protect your focus. This is not superstition. It is mental conditioning. You are training your attention to stay faithful to one outcome until reality catches up. If you can, pause after each prompt and answer out loud or in writing. What precisely do you want? State it as if it is already real. It is December 31st. I earn, or I deliver, or I have completed. What will you give? Name the service, the skill, the sacrifice, the routines you will install. By when? Choose a date. What is your first imperfect step? Name something you can do within the next 24 hours. Now combine those answers into one statement. Read it with feeling. This is the seed you will water each morning and night. History is a gallery of practical dreamers. Henry Ford dreamed of a carriage without horses and refused to be laughed off the stage. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before his light bulb lit the world. The Wright brothers studied birds, bicycle mechanics, and wind until their fragile machine lifted from the sands of Kitty Hawk and birthed aviation. Guglielmo Marconi envisioned messages traveling through the air. The world doubted until the first wireless signals proved him right. These people were not superhumans. They were imperfect men who turned desire into discipline. They worked where they stood, with the tools they had, while they improved the tools they needed. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait to feel ready. Desire made them ready. Now let me share a more intimate example, the kind of story that doesn't begin in a laboratory or a factory, but in a hospital room.
A newborn child enters the world without the physical features required for hearing. Doctors deliver the verdict: he will likely be deaf and mute for life. But the father refuses to accept this as final, not with anger or denial, but with decision. He decides to plant one dominant idea in his son's mind: the desire to hear and to speak. As the child grows, the family discovers he can sense certain vibrations and faint sounds. They experiment: music through the furniture, bedtime stories pressed against the bone behind the ear, encouragement that frames his condition not as a curse but as a challenge that can become an advantage. Years pass. One day, as a young man, he tries a new hearing device. For the first time, the world opens up: voices, music, classrooms, conversations, hearing. He does not stop with personal victory. He turns his experience into service, studying how to help others with hearing loss, communicating hope, and building systems so that many can benefit. A limitation became a mission because desire, reinforced by faith and effort, would not quit. Adversity has tutored many giants. Charles Dickens pasted labels on jars and knew heartbreak before the world knew his books. Helen Keller lived without sight and hearing, but with astonishing courage and intellect. Beethoven could not hear the notes he composed, yet wrote symphonies that still moved the human soul. Booker T. Washington began life in bondage and became a builder of institutions and minds. What unites these lives is not comfort, it is conversion, the conversion of pain into purpose, of limitation into leverage. That conversion is fueled by burning desire. Desire whispers, "There is a way." Discipline answers, "And I will find it." There is a small poem I want you to remember. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. It gives you what you ask, but once you set the wages, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn, dismayed, that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. The point is not greed. It is responsibility. Ask boldly, then earn what you ask for with equal boldness. At this stage, it is crucial to draw a line between wishing and readiness. Wishing is passive, readiness is active belief. Readiness tests assumptions, rearranges routines, educates itself, and chooses environments that support the goal. Readiness is not about circumstances being perfect. It is about you being willing to become the kind of person for whom the goal is natural. Open-mindedness is a companion of readiness. Closed minds reject the very ideas that would set them free. Open minds examine, experiment, and adopt what works. The future belongs to the open-minded. Let's make this tangible in the realm of money and work. Suppose your aim is to earn the first $100,000 in your business. Apply the 6 definite steps. 1. Exact outcome. By December 31st, I generate $100,000 in revenue with a 40% profit margin. 2. What you give. I provide a done-for-you service that removes a painful bottleneck for clients. For example, managing their paid ads, or producing weekly content, or building automations that save hours. 3. Date. Fixed. 4. Plan. Choose a specific market. List 100 prospects. Create a simple offer. Book 20 discovery calls per month. Ship weekly case studies. Ask for referrals. Refine based on data. 5. Statement. Write and read it aloud, morning and night. 6. Persist. Protect the pipeline activities, outreach, delivery, improvement, until the flywheel spins on its own. The point is not the numbers. The point is specificity, exchange of value, and disciplined action. Now for mastery. Let's say you want to become an exceptional public speaker within a year. Exact outcome. Within 12 months, I deliver a 30-minute keynote to an audience of 300 people and receive at least 20 unsolicited compliments, 2 paid invitations, and a recording I am proud to publish. 2. What you give. I will create a talk that educates, entertains, and moves people to meaningful action. 3. Date. Fixed. Plan. Write one 5-minute story every week. Join a speaking club. Book monthly practice talks. Collect feedback. Watch and analyze top speakers. Iterate structure and delivery. Train voice and body language. 20 minutes daily. 5. Statement. Write and read aloud, morning and night, visualizing the audience, the stage, the applause, and the change you spark. 6. Persist. Keep the weekly ship cadence sacred. Skill compounds. Before we enter the final arc, take 1 minute to visualize your outcome. Close your eyes if you can. See the scene of success as a movie. Where are you? Who is present? What do you hear? What do you feel in your body? Calm confidence, focused energy, gratitude. Now imagine the path that led there. The early mornings you chose to show up, the awkward first iterations you embraced, the moments you said no to distractions. See yourself as the kind of person who does the work without drama. Hold that image. Breathe into it. This is not fantasy. It is rehearsal.
A few defenses help keep desire burning when winds blow cold. Environment. Spend time with people who make excellence feel normal. Measurement. Track the behaviors that produce results. What gets measured gets improved. Recovery. Schedule rest. A tired mind confuses discomfort with danger. Narrative. Choose empowering language. Instead of I have to, say I choose to. Focus. Remove the easy escapes, apps, tabs, excuses that siphon energy from the work that matters. Perspective. Temporary defeats are not verdicts, they are data. As we close, remember the pattern you have heard again and again. Desire, decision, discipline. Desire without decision evaporates. Decision without discipline collapses. Discipline without desire becomes drudgery. Together they make you unstoppable. Write your statement tonight. Read it in the morning. Act before noon. Review by evening. Repeat tomorrow. You are training a habit of mind that over weeks and months will change your results and your identity. No one can do this for you, and no one can stop you from doing it. Life will pay the wage you demand, if you are willing to do the work that wage requires. Ask boldly, serve deeply, persist quietly, and when doubt knocks, answer with action. This is your hour. Let this be the day you stop bargaining with life for pennies. Let this be the day you decide, truly decide, what you will build, who you will become, and how you will serve. Then burn the ships. Go forward. Victory favors the committed.